This is Lindsey Nelson with Chris Schenkel here at City Stadium in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the Lake Band from Milwaukee still performing here at halftime. Both teams are back on the field along the sideline. And while the Lake Band is completing its halftime show here, and a very fine halftime performance it is, perhaps we should explain for the benefit of fans who have been sending a few wires here about the manner in which the Green Bay Packers got the ball on the 20-yard line just before the end of the first half. The line of scrimmage was the 6, and Gators overthrew Kyle Road in the end zone, and the ball was brought out to the 20. In the National Football League, an incompletion on fourth down in the end zone is a touchback, and the ball comes out to the 20 and not to the line of scrimmage. That is the rule in the National Football League. Both teams back on the field here now, and the band still on the goal line with another number yet to play also. However, they are marching them off as the teams are ready to play football. And as we start the second half of the ball game, it's the Green Bay Packers 24 and the New York Giants nothing. Giants are going to be kicking off here because you'll recall that the Giants won the toss at the start of the ball game and elected to receive. So at the start of this half, it is the Packers who get the option, and it is Pat Summerall who is putting the ball down in the kicking tee to kick off for the New York Giants. This is Summerall's first appearance in this ball game this afternoon. The deep men are Tom Moore, number 25, and Herb Adderley, number 26. Deep for the Green Bay Packers to receive the kickoff. The Green Bay Packers, having dominated the first half of this ball game and leading by a score of 24-0. That hand is for the Lake Band from Milwaukee as they march off the field. In the first half, the New York Giants got only 1 first down rushing, 2 first downs passing, and 1 first down by penalty. The Giants picked up only 35 yards rushing against the Green Bay defense. The Packers had 7 first downs rushing, 5 passing, 1 by penalty for 13 first downs. They had 101 yards rushing and 106 yards passing. All right, the kickoff. Pat Summerall. It's going to be short. It's on the 20, and it's picked up at the 20-yard line and returned up past the 35. By Tom Bennett. And it's going to be placed on the 36-yard line, put in play first and 10. So now the Green Bay Packers have the ball, first and 10, and they have it on their own 36-yard line. They lead by a score of 24-0. As we start the second half, Jimmy Patton is back in the ball game. He was removed after he was shaken up in the first half. He is back there at deep safety for the New York Giants. Bart Starr, number 15, the quarterback. Gives it off to Paul Hornung. Rosie Greer, number 76, coming over on the tackle. And Joe Morrison, number 40. Paul Hornung, number 5. They've got a great deal of action carrying that football in the first half. Picked up only 1 yard here. So it is second down and 9 as the ball moves to the 37-yard line. Starr palmed the ball for a moment, running it out of the pocket, out of the 40 to the 45, to the 50, and it's Bart Starr going to the 41-yard line, fumbled the ball. It's picked up by Jimmy Patton, and Patton is running it to the 40. And he is being pulled down by Gregg on the far side of the field, Forrest Gregg, number 75. So Jim Patton is the man who recovered the fumble. However, there's a penalty marker on the play. Illegal procedure against the Green Bay Packers. Declined because the Giants want the football, and they get it first and 10 on their own 42. So the Giants get a break early here. They held the ball on their own 42-yard line. Charlie Connolly, number 42, is starting this half at quarterback. Y.A. Tittle started the ball game. Connolly starting now. Referee Rennick comes in and picks up the ball. Goes it across the field. He has called time, being followed by the Green Bay Packers over. The head linesman Heiberger. Heiberger's number 48 there. The referee is George Rennick's number 52. So what have we here? Illegal procedure, he said, was the call. That's Kyle Rote, number 44, co-captain of the New York Giants up there. An explanation, and we hope to get one here from George Rennicks any moment ourselves. The ball has been spotted now on the 47-yard line of the New York Giants. That's Kyle Rote, number 44, still trying to get things explained to him. The Green Bay Packer offensive unit has come back onto the field. New York Giant defensive unit has come back on, although the offensive unit is not left entirely. And the chain has been extended toward the Green Bay Packer goal. And who has the football? Well, it's being taken back now. Illegal procedure against the Green Bay Packers. The 5-yard penalty has been assessed, and that is Andy Robustelli, player coach of the New York Giants, who is talking to headlinesman Heiberger now. And apparently things are going to proceed from right here. As the ball is being moved back to the 35-yard line. It is first down. And 15 yards to go as the chain is now extended. All right, this is Paul Horning. That's Thurston out in front of him. He cuts inside. And Horning goes to the 45-yard line. Huff and Robustelli. Huff, number 70. Robustelli, number 81. Coming over on the tackle. So the ball is on the 45-yard line. That will make it second down and 5 yards to go. Second down, 5 yards to go. He is left, Dollar is right. Jim Taylor gets the football and goes for 1 yard, met by Sam Huff, number 70, along with Cliff Livingston, number 89. A gain of a yard on the play. So it is third down and 4 yards to go for the Green Bay Packers, who lead here by a score of 24-0 in the third quarter. And now another conference between referee Rennicks and headlinesman Heiberger. This is over what down it is. It says third. All right, Max McGee is put to the left side and Boyle Dollar is flanked to the right side. Horning and Taylor in the running back positions. And Starr slipped down as he started back, hung a cleat, passes out into the flat, gets rid of it. It's an incompleted pass. Max McGee, the man for whom it was intended. Dick Lynch was covering him, so now it is 4th and 4 at the 46-yard line. And the Green Bay Packers get set for their first kicking situation of this ball game. Morrison and Wells are dropping back, the deep men. Morrison is 40 and Wells is number 28. As Boyd Dollar will do the kicking for the Green Bay Packers, standing right now on his own 32-yard line. Bobbles it for a moment. It's partially blocked. Running around. And Larry Hayes picks it up. And he fumbles it. And the Giants have recovered it. It is the Giants on the football. Cliff Livingston was the man who partially blocked it. Hayes had it for a moment, and then it was recovered by the New York Giants. By Mickey Walker, number 65. So the Giants are in possession, 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line. Connolly has the football. He is swinging it out to Webster. Webster cannot get away from Willie Davis, number 87. And so Davis, number 87, with help from Tom Bettis, number 65. Pulled him down. Loss of 5 yards on the play. It is 2nd and 15 at the 35. Del Schaffner splits part of the left side. Kyle Roach flank to the right side. It's a draw play, and again it's losing yardage. Alex Webster carried on the draw as Connolly came back and handed it off. That one loses 4 yards back to the 31-yard line. So it's 3rd and 19 now at the 31-yard line. The Green Bay defense pouring in on the New York Giants as Green Bay leads here by a score of 24-0. 9 minutes, 50 seconds unofficially remaining to be played in the third quarter. Schaffner is split to the left side. Road is flanked to the right side. Walden, the tight end, is split about 3 yards. Connerly retreating to throw. Looks for Schaffner. Instead throws to Walden, cutting across. And Joe Walden came across with the diving catch at the 50-yard line. He took the linebacker, Bill Forrester, number 71, out there with him. So it was Schaffner going deep and Walden cutting across. And the pass went to Walden at the 50. Not enough for the first down. It is 4th down and 1 yard to go. 4th down and 1 yard to go. And so Chandler has come into the ball game now. Don Chandler, the punter, has come in for the New York Giants. And the Green Bay Packers have dropped back Willie Wood, number 24, and Lou Carpenter, number 33. There they are, the deep men. Giants trail by 24 points here. Chandler kicking. High spiraling kick over the Wood side of the field. He lets it go, and it goes out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. You see exactly where it's lined up as it's brought to the inbound marker. Bob Sims was downfield covering in a hurry. And so the Green Bay Packers have the football. They have it at their own 14.5-yard line. We'll call it the 14 to start this series. All right, McGee is split left, and Dallas flank right. Bart Starr, number 15, the quarterback. That's Jim Taylor, number 31, directly behind him. Sam Huff on the nose across. Going for no gain as Jim Taylor carried. Tom Scott, number 82, the right outside linebacker, coming over to make the tackle. Second and 10 on the 14 for the Green Bay Packers. This is the first time in history that the National Football League championship game has ever been played in Green Bay, Wisconsin, despite the fact that they've had a pro football team here for more than 40 years. It's a big day in Green Bay. He left, Dollar right. Horning and Taylor, the running backs. Bart Starr swinging it out to Horning, and it is going as an incomplete pass. Rosie Greer and Jim Katkavich in there putting the rush on Bart Starr. Fired it out to the front. That makes it 3rd and 10 at the 14-yard line. These Green Bay Packers are community-owned, incidentally, and now Taylor is coming out of the ball game and getting a hand. Jim Taylor gets a hand as he is replaced by Tom Moore, former Vanderbilt star. There's Taylor. Taylor sustained a kidney injury in the final game of the regular season at Los Angeles against the Rams, and it was problematical as to just how much he would be able to play in this ball game. He has been a big help, however, in that first drive. He was a tremendous help. All right, this is Horning carrying. Got short of the 20-yard line by Erich Barnes, number 49, the defensive left halfback. That will set up a punting situation for the Green Bay Packers. It's 4th and 5 at the 19-yard line. So Wells and Morrison are the deep men there. Morrison at the bottom of your screen and Joel Wells at the top. As Boyd Dollar will do the kicking. Gets this one off a long, high, spiraling kick. Morrison drops it at the 25, chases it around, scrambles for it, and it's recovered by the Green Bay Packers. Forrest Gregg has recovered the fumble. Forrest Gregg, number 75. And so now the Green Bay Packers have the football. It is at the 22-yard line. of the New York Giants, Forrest Gregg, came over to the sideline, now coming right back out there. So the Packers are in possession, 1st and 10. This is Tom Moore carrying number 25 to the 16-yard line. Sam Huff, number 70 on the tackle, along with Joe Morrison, number 40. Green Bay Packers leading by 24 points and driving here. Second down and 4 yards to go for the Green Bay Packers on the New York Giants 16. Paul Harney picks up about 1 yard to the 15. Dick Modulewski, number 77 on the tackle, along with Rosie Greer, number 76, and Sam Huff, number 70. Ball is spotted squarely on the 15-yard line. 3rd down and 3 yards to go there. We have 5 minutes, 30 seconds unofficially remaining to be played in the 3rd quarter here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with the Packers leading the Giants by a score of 24-0 and driving. Down the flank to the right side. Max McGee is split to the left side. White Star has the ball, throwing, and it is incomplete into the hands of Erich Barnes, who bounces the ball on the turf. Erich Barnes, number 49, Giants defensive left halfback. Pass was intended for Paul Harning, who was swinging by him. And it simply goes as an incomplete pass. 4th and 3. And the field goal unit has come onto the field now for the Green Bay Packers. Starr will hold, and Harning will kick, and it'll be from the 21-yard line. Check it, the 22-yard line now. Harning's kick is up, and it's good. Green Bay Packers 27 and the New York Giants nothing.
Ford Fairlane for 1962. Completely new in quality, luxury, value. The 1962 Fairlane. Beautifully styled from every angle. Just look at its classic roofline. Thin, dramatically defined with the high-fashion Thunderbird look. Look at its handsome full-width grille, gleaming, good-looking, with wide-spaced dual headlights. Look at its clean rear deck, beautifully proportioned, with Ford's traditional round tail lights. Styling excellence is typical of the new standards of quality engineering and design that are built into the 62 Ford Fairlane. Find out for yourself. See it, drive it at your Ford dealer. First chance you get.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Chris Schenkel in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and right now you're going to see Ben Agajanian kick off for the Green Bay Packers, who have just kicked the field goal. Paul Harning did to run it up to 27-0. Deep men are Wells and Gators. Kickoff is sailing back and into the end zone and all the way out of the end zone. So it's a touchback to be put in play on the 20-yard line. If you are as confused as we have been by that penalty a moment ago and the placement of the ball, well, we've been trying to check around and find out. Chris Schenkel, what have you found out?
Well, other than the fact that a great deal of excitement has been generated by the fine play of the Packers. Everything now is a little bit confused. Some people thinking that the Packers had 5 downs, including the penalty. That apparently was a motion penalty back at the 35-yard line. So we're trying to check further, and when we get the word, we'll give it right to you. Lindsey Nelson.
This is Charlie Conley retreating to throw the screen pass. He gets it out to Webster. Webster is being hauled out from behind by Henry Jordan, number 74 from Virginia. Webster moving it up to the 25-yard line. Gain of 5 yards on the play. The situation we're discussing is the fact that it was 2nd and 9 for the Packers on the 37. They drew the penalty, a 5-yard penalty, and then it was set up as 1st and 15. And they ran 4 more plays. And that is a situation being muchly discussed around the press box and around here right now. All right, Charlie Carnley, the quarterback in there for the Giants. Intended for Walden, it's incomplete. Joe Walden, number 80, the man for whom it is intended. Dan Curry, number 58, the corner linebacker, taking him out there. Dale Schaffner had gone deep that time for the New York Giants. That'd make it 3rd and 5 on the 25. This ball game has been dominated entirely by the Green Bay Packers here this afternoon on their home field. This stadium was opened in 1957. Phil King, number 24, is in there at quarterback now, and Webster has gone out for the New York Giants. That is Chuck and Charlie Conley, 40 years old, from Mississippi. Running out of the pocket and throwing incomplete, intended for Phil King, number 24. Willie Davis, number 87, was pouring in there on him and running him out of the pocket. That sets up a punting situation, 4th and 5 for the Giants. Don Chandler comes in to do the kicking. And the Green Bay Packers drop back. Willie Wood and Lou Carpenter. Wood at the top of your screen, number 24, and Lou Carpenter at the bottom, number 33. Don Chandler, number 34, to do the punting for the New York Giants. Approximately 4 minutes remaining to be played in the 3rd quarter. Chandler sails it out of there. Fair catch call for by Wood. Willie Wood at the 42. Call for the fair catch. And Joel Wells bumped him right there. So it's a 15-yard penalty. He called for the fair catch, and you cannot touch him under those circumstances. But he was bumped, and so now the Green Bay Packers have it 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line of the New York Giants. So again, the Packers have the ball in Giant territory. He hits Dollar at the 40-yard line. Here it's Barnes, bulldogging him out of bounds. Between the 30 and 35. Cliff Livingston and Sam Huff lending assistance there. There's Boyd Dollar, number 86. Dollar was a quarterback at Colorado in college. Ball is being marked at the 32-yard line. So it's a 1st down. Across the way, you can see Y.A. Tittle warming up for the Giants. That's Tittle at the top of your screen throwing up there. Right, moving up the middle. Paul Horning carrying. Sam Huff on the tackle, along with Andy Robustelli. Being marked at the 26-yard line. 2nd down and 4 yards to go for the Green Bay Packers. Driving again deep into Giant territory. The Packers lead here by a score of 27-0. Tom Moore and Paul Horning in the running back positions. Bart Starr, number 15, is the quarterback. Dollar right on the line. McGee flank to the left side. He throws to Dollar. Dollar makes the catch inside. And it is completed at about the 13-yard line. Here it's Barnes, the defender. Boyd Dollar is 6 feet 5 inches tall. He can reach up there. And the ball is being brought and marked now at the 13-yard line. 1st down play, so it's 1st and 10 now for the Green Bay Packers. That's a Giant 13-yard line. Dallas on the line at the right, and McGee is flanked to the left side. This is Paul Horning throwing, and it's incomplete to Max McGee. Joe Morrison and Dick Lynch covering. Modulewski was in there on Horning, but he managed to get it off anyway. Jimmy Taylor coming back into the ball game at fullback. And Tom Moore is coming out for the Green Bay Packers. Taylor was an All-American at LSU, 1957. That was Billy Cannon's sophomore year at LSU, but the big ball player on that team was this Jimmy Taylor. All right, Starr is retreating to throw. Throws to Kramer, and it's a touchdown. Ron Kramer. It was Joe Morrison that he went around, and Kramer slipped down on the ice off in the corner. Kramer slipped on the ice after he left the field. He got out there on that hard clay that is completely frozen and slipped on, but after he had scored the touchdown, his second of the day, Joe Morrison was the defender that he went around as he went into the end zone. And now it's Paul Horning to kick on the conversion attempt. It is up. And it's good. Offside against the Giants at that point was refused because it is good, and there's timeout on the field with the score of the Green Bay Packers 34 and the New York Giants nothing.
It's just a touch, a gentle touch, a cooling touch of menthol. Reawaken your taste with Cameo, refreshingly different.
With Cameo, you get only the coolness of menthol. You taste only the natural flavor of fine, fully matured tobaccos. Refreshing, like a snowfall in summer. Try a pack of Cameo soon. They're filter tipped, king size.
There's just a touch, a gentle touch, a cooling touch of menthol. Reawaken your taste with Cameo, refreshingly different.
Agajanian will kick off again for the Green Bay Packers. And the deep men are Gators and Wells. After Agajanian kicked a couple short, they moved Gators and Wells up to about the 8-yard line. And then the last time, Agajanian kicked it right on into the end zone and out. So Agajanian again kicking, a little short. And it is Joel Wells at the 10-yard line. Wells to the 15, to the 20, to the 25. Wells to the 30. Still going and gets it up to the 35-yard line. Joel Wells returning it. Woody Wood on the tackle. Ball is spotted near the 34, so let's start this series first and 10 at the 34-yard line. And Y.A. Tittle is back in at quarterback for the New York Giants. Tittle started the ball game. They lead by Conley in the second quarter. Conley started the second half. Tittle is asking for quiet. And now he is talking to the referee, and he is going to call him back in the huddle. Tittle got up there, apparently could not hear his signals, and a timeout has been called on the field here. The New York Giants trailing in this ball game by 34 points. Now they're set to go as the clock will be started again. Del Schaffner split to the left side. Kyle Roach flank to the right side. Bob Gators is the left halfback, and he hits Roach. And the Giants got the football. It is Joe Walton, number 80. Roach took the pass, fumbled, and Walton recovered. And so the Giants retain possession at their own 48-yard line, first and 10. About a minute and a half remaining to be played in the third quarter here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Schaffner split to the left side, Roach flank right. Tittle retreating to throw. And he throws to Schaffner, his first catch of the day. Simak, number 27, is there. And Willie Wood, number 24, also on the tackle. That's the first down for the Giants now. 1st and 10 as they have the ball on the 33-yard line of the Green Bay Packers. Up until that moment, Jesse Whitman has been doing a fine job of covering Del Schaffner out here this afternoon. Y.A. Tittle slipping as he started back for the ball, so it is simply going to be grounded back there. Schaffner had gone deep. He was the deep man. And Tittle trying to get back in a hurry. Pull down on the 39-yard line. 2nd and 16 now. That is the Packer defense. Number 87 is Davis. 79 is Hanner. 74 is Jordan. And 83 is Bill Quinlan. 58 there is Dan Curry. 71 is Forrester. 24 is Willie Wood. 47 is Whitman. 46 is Grimminger. All right, Schaffner split part of the left side. Tittle hits him. And he is hit immediately by Willie Wood, number 24. Schaffner and Tittle are roommates, incidentally, on the road. So the ball goes to the 31-yard line. That's going to make it 3rd down and 8 yards to go. 3rd and 8 for the Giants. And there's the gun. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score of the Green Bay Packers 34 and the New York Giants nothing.
Quiet as midnight. Quick as a minute. That's the essence of Galaxy. This shining new Galaxy by Ford. Its thrust is pure Thunderbird, up to 401 horsepower. A 62 Galaxy now outperforms America's most expensive luxury cars, and does it in a whisper. Silence has always been an important test of how well, how solidly, how conscientiously a car is built. And Galaxy is as silent as a secret, because this Galaxy is the most carefully crafted in Ford's long history of fine craftsmanship. How long has it been since you've driven a new Ford? Try one soon, for something wonderfully quick, something wonderfully quiet has happened. Drive this new Galaxy soon at your Ford dealers.
Lombardi with the white cap on there, and Bingston with the black hat on, his defensive coach. And across the way, Al Sherman, the rookie coach of the New York Giants and coach of the year in the National Football League. All right, Y.A. Tittle retreating to throw now, and he throws to Rote, and it's incomplete. Grimminger was the defender, number 46 in the case. So that is going to make it 4th down and 8 yards to go for the New York Giants. Incidentally, Jack Stroud is now playing offensive right tackle in place of Larson. And Mickey Walker, number 65, is playing the right guard position. That is for the New York Giants. Stroud can be used interchangeably at guard or tackle. All right, the Giants trail by 34 points. This is 4th and 8 at the 31-yard line. Tittle, Gators, King, and Rote in the backfield. Now they move King up into the slot as they widen Walton out. Tittle retreating, and he can't get rid of it. Henry Jordan. And there, along with Dave Hanner, number 79, Bill Quinlan, number 83, pulled him down. That was 4th down, so the ball goes over. 1st and 10 for the Green Bay Packers on their own 40-yard line.
For the Green Bay Packers, both offensively and defensively, as Bart Starr, the quarterback, has yet to be touched by a Giant defensive player thanks to the great blocking of the men up front.
All right, Chris Schenkel, there is Starr, number 15. Gives it off to Paul Horning. Horning is hit at the line of scrimmage by Jim Ketkavich, number 75, and Nick Modulewski, number 77. That's Sam Huff, number 70 in there. Packers right now have Tom Moore running in at fullback instead of Jim Taylor. Green Bay Packers, who won the Western Conference Championship last year but lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in the championship game. They repeated as Western Conference champs this year, and they're leading in the championship game over the Giants, 34-0 in the final quarter. Here's a quick pitch to Tom Moore. Can't go, and he's being spilled back on the 35-yard line. Dick Lynch, number 22, Sam Huff, number 70, coming in to make the tackle. Tom Scott, number 82 there. So there's a loss of 5 yards on that play, make it 3rd and 15. And here comes Jim Taylor onto the field for the Green Bay Packers, number 31. Racing into the huddle, and Tom Moore is coming out. It is the depth of the Green Bay Packers that brought them home well ahead of the pack this season, because with their Army losses and with their injuries, had they not had the depth, they might have been in bad trouble. But they were able to send men like Tom Moore right into that lineup and feel the damage hardly at all. This is Horning carrying. And Horning goes up to the 48-yard line on the pass from Bart Starr. Jim Patton and Sam Huff on the tackle, and that is Huff still on the ground. Still not enough for the first down. It is 4th and 2 at the 48-yard line. Wells and Morrison are deep for the Giants as Dollar goes into punt formation for the Green Bay Packers. Dollar gets it off. Fair catch call for at the 21-yard line by Joe Morrison. And that is where the Giants will take over 1st and 10. 12 minutes, 22 seconds unofficially remaining to be played in this National Football League championship game in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Green Bay Packers were first organized as a pro football team by Curly Lambeau back in 1919. The Indian Packing Company was touched for $500 to pay for the sweaters and the stockings. In return, the team was called the Packers. Well, the Indian Packing Company has long since gone by the board, but the Packers survive and prosper. Y.A. Tittle running the attack now, number 14 for the New York Giants. Throws a long pass to Schaffner. Whittenden has the football. Jesse Whittenden is intercepted, and Schaffner is riding along his back to pull him down. You saw Trimac, number 27, get into the act. The spot is going to be marked where the interception occurred, and the Green Bay Packers take over at their own 38-yard line.
Ladies and gentlemen, I doubt if anybody will see a better game played by an individual team than the Green Bay Packers are showing to millions on television, and a record Green Bay crowd right here today of 39,029 paid. The largest crowd here at Green Bay because of the addition of temporary seats here in this Bay City.
All right, Chris Schenkel, Green Bay in charge again at Bart Starr. Number 5 is calling starting signals. Throws the quick pop pass to Dollar, and he dropped it. He was popped immediately by Erich Barnes, number 49. And Sam Huff, number 70, both jumping in there. That is Huff, number 70, you see right there. Goes as an incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 now for the Packers at the 38-yard line. If you like success stories, take a look at Bart Starr, the quarterback of Green Bay, when he comes up here. He was quarterback on an Alabama football team that lost every game of the season. He wasn't drafted until the 17th round. He broke in on the Tobin Road, had to fight off Babe Perilli and Lamar McCann to get this job. He got it for good this year and has brought him home a winner. Bart Starr, number 15, from Montgomery, Alabama. This is Tom Moore, number 25, carrying. Sam Huff, number 70, and Joe Morrison, number 40, on the tackle. It's at the 41-yard line. Gain of 3. It is 3rd down and 7 for the Green Bay Packers. McGee left and Dollar right. Tom Moore and Paul Horning in the running back position. You saw Robustelli break across. So the penalty marker goes down. You saw Andy Robustelli. Dick Marchulewski also moving over. So the penalty is against the New York Giants. 5-yard penalty for offside. Makes it 3rd down and 2 yards to go now for the Packers at their own 46-yard line. Green Bay Packers 34, the New York Giants nothing at City Stadium in Green Bay. This is Paul Hornung going for enough to get the first down and into Giant territory. Sam Huff and Dick Modulewski on the tackle, along with Cliff Livingston, number 89. Ball is being spotted at the 47-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Green Bay Packers in Giant territory. Jim Taylor's back in at fullback, and Tom Moore has come out now for the Green Bay Packers. Paul Hornung still in the other running back position. Jim Taylor carrying it on the draw, and Taylor finds an opening, goes to the 30-yard line, comes to the outside, and he is now at the 15-yard line, and he is being run out of bounds by Erich Barnes, number 49. He got a nice block from number 86, Boyd Dowler, downfield. Jimmy Taylor bursting through, going to the outside. It's at the 14-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go for the Packers as they're leading 34-0 and driving. Boyd Dowler is on the line to the right flank, and Max McGee is flanked to the left. This is Paul Hornung. Hey, he runs into a mass of white jerseys on the far side. Dick Lynch came up there. Jim Katcavage, Sam Huff. That is Forrest Gregg, number 75, who was trying to lead the play around there. A loss of 6 as the ball is spotted at the 20 at 2nd and 16 now for the Packers. Paul Hornung from Louisville, Kentucky, Heisman Trophy winner and All-American quarterback. And number 1 draft choice of the Green Bay Packers when he came into the Pro League. They tried him at quarterback, he couldn't make it. They tried him at fullback, he didn't make it. They tried him at halfback, and he became the most valuable player in the league. Starr swinging it out to Paul Hornung. Clockers out in front on the screen. Hornung going to the 12-yard line. Modulewski coming up on the tackle along with Joe Morrison, number 40. Modulewski's number 77. He was an All-American in Maryland. Ball is at the 12-yard line. Make it 3rd down and 8 yards to go for the Green Bay Packers. They say that these Green Bay Packers are a community project and a regional religion. Bart Starr retreating, throwing to the corner, and it is incomplete. Intended for Ron Kramer, number 88. Joe Morrison covering over there. 4th and 8 on the 12, and the field goal team has come onto the field now. The field goal unit has come onto the field for the Green Bay Packers. They lead 34-0 with 8 minutes, 15 seconds unofficially remaining to be played in this game. The difference between winning and losing is about $2,000 per man. Winners will get something over $5,000 each. Losers will get something over $3,000 each. All right, it'll be a 19-yard field goal attempt with Starr holding and Paul Hornung kicking. It's up, and it's good. So there's timeout on the field with the score of the Green Bay Packers 37 and the New York Giants nothing.
There's just a touch, a gentle touch, a cooling touch of menthol. Reawaken your taste with Cameo. Refreshingly different.
With Cameo, you get only the coolness of menthol. You taste only the natural flavor of fine, fully matured tobaccos. Refreshing, like ice on a day in June. Try a pack of Cameo soon. They're filter tipped, king size.
There's just a touch, a gentle touch, a cooling touch of menthol. Reawaken your taste with
This is Lindsey Nelson with Chris Schenkel in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Ben Agajanian will kick off in the deep men. Gators number 35 and Joel Wells number 28 as you see them from our ground level camera. Ben Agajanian, 42 years old, boots the ball. Gators on the 5-yard line. Gators to the 10 to the 15. Gators to the 20, skates a yard and goes to the 25 and is hit just across the 25-yard line. So it'll be put in play at the 26. Willie Wood came up to make the tackle. Y.A. Tittle is going to run the attack now for the New York Giants. Giants have been shut out thus far this afternoon by the Green Bay Packers. Gators, Webster, Rote. And the ball is fumbled, recovered by the Giants. Back about the 22. As it is Gators who fell on the ball, number 35. As Tittle fell and dropped the ball as he did, it bounded around. He couldn't get to it. He couldn't move, so the ball is on the 22, a loss of 4. 2nd and 14. And now Phil King is coming to the ball game, and you see Alex Webster leading on the far side. King is in at fullback, number 24 for the New York Giants. Del Schaffner split far to the left side. Rote is flanked to the right side. And Y.A. Tittle retreats to throw. Throws to Schaffner. And that is Whittington right on his back. Jesse Whittington, number 47. That's Ray Nitschke, number 66. Willie Wood, number 24. But Tittle hits Schaffner, and it's at the 36-yard line. 1st and 10. This has been an afternoon when very little has gone right for the New York Giants and very little has gone wrong for the Green Bay Packers as they lead 37-0. These teams played once in the exhibition series, and the Packers won 20-17. They played once during the regular season, and the Packers won 20-17. All right, Tittle is winging it out to Kyle Rote. Ray Nitschke was red dogging in there on Tittle. Ray Nitschke was red dogging in on Tittle and still got it out there intended for Rote. But Tittle is just now back on his feet, loosening up a little. And now John Simak is coming out of the ball game, and Emlyn Tunnell is going in the secondary for the Green Bay Packers. Emlyn Tunnell, who saw a lot of years of great service with the Giants as they placed Simak in the secondary. 2nd and 10 at the 36 for the Giants. Handoff is to Phil King, and the Chief is being spilled for a loss. Bill Quinlan, number 83, firing it on him, former Michigan Stater, who came to Green Bay from Cleveland, as did 3 of that front 4, as a matter of fact. 3rd down and 12 yards to go. A loss of 2 on that last handoff. We were speaking of how the Packers got their name. The Giants got their name when Tim Mara bought the team back in 1925, and he named them in honor of John McGraw's baseball Giants, who also plays the Polo Grounds. Giants have gone to San Francisco, of course, now, the baseball Giants. It is Grimminger, incomplete. It was intended for Rote, and Grimminger sort of leaned over and tried to grab it and couldn't hang on. Grimminger's number 46. So it is 4th and 12, the 34-yard line. A punting situation, and Don Chandler's coming to do the kicking. Willie Wood and Lou Carpenter are the deep men. Wood at the top of your screen and Carpenter at the bottom. 37-0, the Packers leading the Giants. Now it's across the 30 to the 25. And it's going to be blown dead right there. That'll be 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line for the Green Bay Packers.
And as the Packers take over here at City Stadium, the Giants haplessly trying to avert a shutout. There have been very few in the history of the National Football League title game. In fact, the first started in Milwaukee in 1939 when the Green Bay Packers shut out the New York Giants 27-0. And the great Packers are doing it again here this afternoon.
All right, Bart Starr's the quarterback. Tom Moore is on there at fullback right now. Here's the pitch to Moore. Turns the corner. Gets across the 30-yard line. Cliff Livingston, number 89, coming over on the tackle, along with Erich Barnes, number 49. Well, it's on the 31-yard line, and now Paul Horning has gone out of the ball game, and coming in is Elijah Pitts. Horning is getting a standing ovation as he comes off the field. There is Paul Horning getting a standing ovation from these fans. There they are up and on their feet. Jerry Knappel has gone in at end also, replacing Kramer. Knappel's in at end. Looking on at 4 yards to go. This is Moore finding a big hole. Gets all the way back to the secondary. Here is Barnes, number 49. Rosie Greer, number 76, coming across. It's a first down for the Green Bay Packers. And now Max McGee has come off the field, and Max McGee is getting a big hand as he has come off here. There he is, number 85, Max McGee. Lou Carpenter has replaced him, number 33, and he has split to the left side this time. So Knappel and Carpenter, the ends in for Green Bay right now. Pitts and Moore are the running backs. This is Elijah Pitts. Big Rosie Greer, number 76, making the tackle with help from Joe Morrison, number 40. Now Boyd Dowler has come out of the ball game. Boyd Dowler has come out of the ball game. Lee Hawkins has come in now, replacing Dowler. Lee Hawkins, number 81. Second down and 9 yards to go. This is Pitts again. Ball's across the 45-yard line. Andy Robustelli made the tackle. And now John Roach is going into the ball game. Roach is going into the ball game, and Bart Starr is coming out. Listen to the hand for Bart Starr. Packers getting a hand as they're being brought out one by one with 2.5 minutes remaining to be played in this championship game. The Packer fans have waited 17 years for another championship. They will take full advantage of this New Year's Eve celebration. Pitts carrying, Sam Huff making the tackle. Help from Jim Katkavich. Ball is spotted on the 40-yard line. It is 4th and 12. And now, with 2 minutes remaining, there's timeout on the field with the score of the Green Bay Packers 37, the New York Giants nothing.
Montreal's colorful, bustling, crowded Bon Secours market, as seen by George Fair. Look at the narrow little streets. Hey, is that car actually going to drive through all those push carts, wagons, and people? Well, if any car can make it, this one can. It's the new 62 Ford Falcon. Watch how beautifully it handles. See that? That's Falcon maneuverability in action. Parking. Take your pick of the spots. Falcon fits where others won't. Trunk space? Falcon's got loads of it. 23.7 cubic feet to be exact. And the way Falcon looks. Beautiful, neat, trim lines. Falcon goes up to 35 miles in a gallon of regular gas. Falcon goes up to 6,000 miles between oil changes. Falcon is at your Ford dealers now. The 62 Ford Falcon, Canada's best-selling compact.
With 2 minutes remaining, it's a 4th and 12 situation, so the Packers will be in position to punt. Boyd Dowler going into the ballgame to do the punting. Dropping back now. Wells and Morrison to the deep men. Now he gets it off a long, high, spiraling kick, driving Morrison back. He lets it go and hits on the 5. And it is grounded by Herb Adderley, number 26. Adderley, number 26, grounds the ball. And it's going to be at the 9-yard line. You know, the Giant defensive unit is one of the proudest units in pro football. They had played 105 games as a unit coming in here. They, of course, were the unit in the 1956 game won by the Giants over the Bears. The Green Bay Packers this afternoon have devastated that defensive unit. The Giants now facing a shutout. Have the ball first and 10 on their own 9, and they have Y.A. Tittle to run the T attack. He gives it to Gators on a halfback draw, and he goes across the 11-yard line. He picked up only 2. So it is second down and 8 yards to go for the New York Giants. 1 minute, 22 seconds unofficially remaining. This place will be a madhouse the moment that gun sounds ending this ball game. These fans have waited 17 years for a winner. They have waited more than 40 years for a championship in Green Bay. This is the first time the championship game has ever been played here. They will make the most of it, believe you me. This is Y.A. Tittle throwing to Del Schaffner, sideline pattern, incomplete. Whittenden covering. 3rd and 8 at the 11 as the incomplete pass, of course, stops the clock. Green Bay in one of its proudest moments right here, of course, leading by a score of 37-0 in the championship game. Pete Hall has come in replacing Kyle Rote now for the New York Giants. This town, of course, is rich in football tradition. They have starred names like Don Hudson and Arnie Herber and Cal Herbert and C. Sisbell and Tony Canadeo, but none greater than this unit they have on the field right now here this afternoon. All right, shotgun formation for the Giants. First time this afternoon, direct pass situation. And so Tittle gets it back to throw. And he overthrew Hall, and it is intercepted on the far side by Adderley. Herb Adderley, number 26 for Michigan State, is Jitterbuggy. Going to the outside, Adderley to the 20. Still going, and he gets to the 16-yard line. Herb Adderley intercepted. Mickey Walker made the tackle.
And ladies and game for weeks to come, the praise can only be heaped on the great Green Bay Packers, and nothing in the way of praise can be said for the performance by the New York Giants today, as these two teams are meeting for the 4th time in championship play. And coming into it, the City Fathers were right when they renamed the city Titletown, USA, and the players have just as much confidence as the City Fathers.
Titletown, USA it is. It's a happy day, and Green Bay and the Packers have the ball. First and 10 on the 16-yard line. They have Roach, the quarterback. 25 seconds unofficially remain to be played in this ball game. Roach simply keeps it on the quarterback sneak. Just about the line of scrimmage, slipped down, and now they can let the clock run out if they wish. Andy Robicelli made that last tackle. The clock is running out, and they're going to let it run out. They're not making any attempt to huddle. The crowd has started on the field. The players have started for the dressing room. The gun has sounded. The ball game's over, and the Green Bay Packers have won the championship. Now watch the madhouse scene. The Giants trying to get to the tunnel to get to the dressing room. They had started before the gun. The Green Bay Packers trying to get into that tunnel, too. Strangely enough, the announcement was made that the goalpost would be protected. Fans were asked not to try to tear them down, and this is about the quietest goalpost situation I have ever seen at the conclusion of a championship game, Chris.
And ladies and gentlemen, Ellie Sherman was the first one across the field to congratulate Vince Lombardi, who has a sweet victory today after losing a heartbreaker in Philadelphia last year for the championship. And Vince Lombardi has most certainly a tremendous record as head coach in the National Football League. All the way today, and the Green Bay Packers were not kidding. Touchdown scored by Kramer twice, Dowler, Horning's 3 field goals, and what domination of professional football.
Right, Chris, and that's the end of the game with the final score of the Green Bay Packers 37 and the New York Giants nothing.
It's just a touch, a gentle touch, a cooling touch of menthol. Reawaken your taste with Cameo, refreshingly different.
With Cameo, you get only the coolness of menthol. You taste only the natural flavor of fine, fully matured tobacco. Refreshing, like a snowy sleigh ride in the middle of July. Try a pack of Cameo soon. They're filter-tipped, king size.
There's just a touch, a gentle touch, a cooling touch of menthol. Reawaken your taste with Cameo, refreshingly different.
The Green Bay Packers have won the championship of the National Football League by defeating the New York Giants 37-0. And to tell you something of how they did it, here is Chris Schenkel.
Okay, Lindsey Nelson, in a game that was played in less than 2.5 hours, which is most unusual, it was probably the longest afternoon for Giant football fans wherever they are, and of course, Giant football players. 37-0, the final score, with Paul Hornung accounting for 19 of the points, and of course that is fitting because he has been the National Football League leader the last 3 years, totaling in the regular season 146 points this year, with Dowler catching a 13-yard touchdown pass. Ron Kramer catching 2 from Bart Starr, 1 for 14 yards, another for 13 yards. Hornung's 3 field goals, 1 from 17 yards away, another from 22, and then the third from 19 yards. So in a short game, the Packers vanquish the New York Giants. They end 1961 in the best of fashion with a great 37-0 victory, the 4th shutout in the history of the National Football League championship game.
All right, Chris Schenkel, they're still working on that goalpost pretty well, trying to get it down. And despite the fact that the season has ended here in Green Bay, there is still plenty of football coming your way on NBC. For instance, tomorrow.
Well, Curly, we're back here in Toronto, and I think it looks to me like Green Bay kind of scalped the New York Giants.
Well, I think we ought to get a plane to Green Bay tonight to celebrate New Year's Eve.
That'd be the spot to be,
Oh,
wouldn't it?
boy, I'll say it will. Be terrific.
Well, at any rate, the New York Giants, in spite of the fact that they did get trimmed 37-0, they did provide a lot of thrills over the National Football League season for us Canadian fans up here.
Well, they certainly did, and for Allie Sherman and the whole Giant crew, now they can put away their scouting reports and their playbooks and just take a look at these films and start planning for next year and see where they may have to rebuild.
I was going to say, I don't think they'll be able to quit work because it looks like a big rebuilding job is in store for the Giants.
Well, very definitely. They've done an exceptional job, and I think Allie Sherman, for his first year of head coach, should really get the pats on the back. There's no question about it. He deserved the Coach of the Year award because he took this club that last year lost 4 of its last 5 ball games and brought it along this season, and the results were fantastic. They knew their problems. They knew they lacked team speed offensively. They got Del Schaffner and Walton and Wells to help that situation, and Gators, and maybe they'll get a lot of mileage out of these fellows in the next few years, but they're going to have a big job all the way in rebuilding.
It's kind of unfortunate, too, but that's football. Most of the talk this afternoon has been about Bart Starr and Paul Hornung, who played outstanding football games, but there are a couple of fellows up there on the offensive line for the Green Bay Packers, like Jim Ringo and Fred Thurston.
Boy, you can't say enough about those fellows, and Gregg and Masters, that whole offensive line, and Kramer, the closed offensive end, not only is a fine receiver, but he's a great blocker, too. And when you have fellows like that doing a job out in front, boy, it makes it tough for the opposing team.
In all the games we've seen this year, Curly, I have never seen the Giants physically manhandle the way they were today.
We saw some flashes of it 6 weeks ago when we saw the Packers and the Giants meet earlier in that 20-17 contest, but not like they handled them today. It was phenomenal. This fellow Ringo, you know, is really not big as offensive centers go. He's just 6 feet and about 225, 30 pounds, but he has a tremendous thrust. When he snaps that ball back to the quarterback, is a terrific initial charge, and he's the key man in there. And along with Thurston and Gregg and, of course, Kramer, the fine offensive guard that they lost a few weeks ago with a broken ankle, but they were able to move Masters out to tackle and bring Gregg into the other offensive guard, and those fellows really do a fine job of crisp blocking. If you'll notice a couple times, I said just look at that offensive line of Green Bay, and we saw their initial charge into the Giant defense, and you can just see that explosion, and there seems like there's a uncoil of about a yard of heads bopping and popping back when you see those fellows move out.
The man we haven't talked much about, too, is Vince Lombardi. He must be a wonderful man.
Well, he is. He's a very fine fundamentalist, and the thing that he tries to do, and he certainly did it today, is to beat the opponent at their strength. And if you'll notice, he worked against Robustelli and Greer and Mo Gillespie consistently in this ball game to beat the Giants at their strength and take a little oomph out of the powder keg.
Well, Curly, it's just about the end of the line now for the National Football League for this year. In fact, it is. And I certainly want to thank you for, Curly, I might tell our listeners, works in New York and lives in Greenwich, Connecticut. And most weeks he flies up here. I say that because last week he got snowed in. But, Curly, it's been a great pleasure working with you. I've really enjoyed it myself. I've learned a lot of football from you, and I know the fans out there have too.
Well, Hal, I want to tell you that it's really been my pleasure. I've really enjoyed every weekend that I've come to Toronto. I've made a lot of fine friends, and I want to thank you because it's been a pleasure working with you. You've made the job so easy for me in unfamiliar circumstances. I want to thank Ty Lindbergh, our producer, and all of the staff of CBS Sports Department for the wonderful cooperation they've given me. And I've really enjoyed it, and I'm going to look forward to doing this a lot more. It's been too fast of a season, Hal.
We'll see you next year for sure. Same to you. I'll see you in Green Bay tonight.
Okay.
Friends, next week, the World of Sport returns to its regular time slot of Saturday afternoon. We'll have Cross-Canada Curling Series, and we'll see a Western semifinal. And now, that wraps up our football season for 1961. This is Hal Kelly, along with Curly Morrison, saying so long for now.
The second half of today's NFL Championship game was brought to you by Ford of Canada, on behalf of your Ford dealer who sells and services the 1962 Galaxy, Fairlane, and Falcon, and by refreshingly different Cameo cigarettes with just a touch of menthol. This is the CBC Television Network.
The thermometer stands at 19 degrees, but championship fever has things heated up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. For today is the day the whole town has been waiting for. The big game between the New York Giants, winners of the Eastern Conference, and the Packers of Green Bay, rulers in the West. There has been plenty of cold weather in Green Bay, and a heavy snow has left the town under a blanket of white. The field has been covered with an insulating layer of hay and snow. Large heaters are installed behind the huts, which will shield the benches. Several hours before the game, the field is swept clean. Thanks to a marvelous job by the groundsmen, the field will be hard, but not completely frozen. Led by their all-pro center and captain, Jim Ringo, the Green Bay Packers take the field for their pregame warm-up. The Packers powered their way to the Western Crown with an 11-3 record, including a close win over the Giants in Milwaukee. Bart Starr's smooth performance at quarterback has been a prime factor in the Packers' success. Paul Hornung led the league in scoring, despite the fact that he was recalled to Army duty in mid-season and missed 2 games. Hard-running fullback Jim Taylor is the workhorse of the Green Bay attack and one of football's most feared ball carriers. 250-pound guard Fuzzy Thurston heads a fast-moving, hard-hitting offensive line. The big men from New York take the field for their 4th title game in 6 years, looking for their 2nd world title in that period. Defensive captain and coach Andy Robustelli can break a game wide open with his pass rush and jarring tackles. Middle linebacker Sam Huff always comes up with his best performance in crucial games. Veteran Alec Webster has been the strongest runner for the Giants. Alec gained over 900 yards in 61. Y. Tittle is the man most responsible for the rise of the Giants. 39,029 heavily bundled football fans, nearly 2/3 of the population of Green Bay, are entertained by the Packers marching band and a high-stepping Mrs. Santa Claus. The New York Giants know they have a job on their hands as they take the field for the game. Their defense must face football's most devastating offensive unit. '61's Coach of the Year, Allie Sherman, follows his team onto the field. The sun peeks through the cloudy sky as the town of Green Bay becomes the sports capital of the world. The Packers receive deafening ovations as they come out, followed by their leader, 1960's Coach of the Year, Vince Lombardi. Bill Forrester and Jim Ringo represent the Packers at midfield, while Kyle Rote and Andy Robustelli speak for the Giants. The visitors win the toss, and the Packers will kick off. The crowd is hushed with tension and we're ready for the World's Championship of the National Football League. Ben Agajanian kicks off for Green Bay. Joel Wells has it on the 15, sidesteps a tackler and returns to the New York 30 where he's slammed down by Ray Nitschke. Y. Tittle directs the New York attack. Joel Wells takes a handoff, but he's met immediately by Henry Jordan and gets only 1 yard. Alec Webster gets the call on the draw play. The hole is there, but Webster falls as he goes through for another 1-yard gain. It's 3rd down and 8 on the Giant 32. Tittle flips a swing pass to Alec Webster. Webster can't get his footing, and he's met by Dan Curry after 5 yards. The Packers hold on the first series of downs, and Don Chandler is forced to punt. Don's short punt is taken on the bounce by Willie Wood. Willie gets only 4 yards, and the Packers have the pigskin on their own 26. Allie Sherman checks on the Packer defense with tackle Roosevelt Brown, while the Packers get their first shot at the vaunted Giant defense. Bart Starr fakes to Taylor, then gives to Horning. Giant end Jim Catkavage breaks inside to hold Horning for a short gain. Paul Horning slants off the Packers' strong side and drives for 6 yards. Tom Scott leads the Giant tacklers. For the 3rd straight time, Horning carries the ball, but Jim Catkavage can't be moved, and he holds Horning to a yard gain. It's 4th and 1. A penalty moves the Packers back, and Boyd Dowler punts. Joe Morrison has it on the 24 and fights for 7 yards. Joel Wells hits quickly over left guard Darrell Dess. Wells collects 8 yards before Tom Bettis can stop him. On 2nd down, Alec Webster hits over left tackle. Webster gets across the 40 and has the first down of the game. Y.A. Tittle drops straight back and fires into the flat. Kyle Rote is open at the 50, but he fails to hold on to the football. The Giants get into Green Bay territory as Tittle, rushed hard by Willie Davis, hits Rote. Kyle fights to the Packer 47. It's 1st down, Giants. On 2nd down, Tittle sends Webster over the left side. Defensive safety, Willie Wood, flies up to hold Big Alec to 1 yard. It's 3rd and 9 on the Packer 46. Tittle scurries back into the pocket and fires down the middle. Rote is open, but once again, the great Giant receiver loses his grip on the ball. A tough break on a key play. Don Chandler punts from his own 41. Don aims for the left corner, but the ball hits on the 2 and bounces into the end zone. After Horning gains 4 yards, Starr goes for the long one. Max McGee has a step on Dick Lynch, but the ball slips through his hands. Starr backs up and passes short to Horning, slanting toward the middle. Paul eludes Sam Huff and rolls for 26 yards to midfield. With the Giants leery of the pass, the Packer ground game begins to click. Horning slashes off tackle for 5 yards. Jim Taylor carries the ball for the first time. Taylor gets 4 yards before he's cut down by Cliff Livingston. It's 3rd down and a yard to go on the 41. As the Giant defense braces to hold the Packer attack, let's focus on Jim Taylor. Taylor blasts through the hole opened by Bob Skoransky, spins and gets 4 yards. 1st and 10 Packers on the Giant 37. Again, we take a ground level look as Sam Huff moves into the slot to try to stop the awesome Packer power. Taylor carries for the 3rd time in a row and drives off the right side for 5 yards. The slow motion camera watches Horning take a handoff and slip inside Forrest Gregg's block. Horning gets away from Modulewski and keeps his balance to the Giant 25. Packer fans go wild as referee George Rennick signals another 1st down. Beautiful cross-blocking springs the explosive Taylor, who gets inside the 20. Taylor is still recovering from a back injury suffered late in the season. Our ground camera takes us into the Giant secondary. Bart Starr aims for Boyd Dowler on the look-in pattern. The pass is incomplete, but Barnes is called for interference. Barnes is unhappy about the play. Let's give him another chance in slow motion. As Bart Starr fades to pass, Packer blockers do a perfect job on the on-rushing Giant defenders. Starr fires a bullet for Big Boyd Dowler. Barnes hits Dowler before the ball arrives, and the flag goes down. It's 1st and goal, Packers on the 7. Giant coach Allie Sherman doesn't like the looks of things as the first period ends with no score for either team. On the first play of the second quarter, Horning follows Jim Taylor off the strong side. Paul pushes across for the touchdown. Green Bay goes ahead 6-0, and the Packers whoop it up on the bench. Here's that touchdown in slow motion. Watch number 75, Forrest Gregg, and number 78, Bob Skoransky, make their blocks. Jim Taylor takes out Cliff Livingston. The powerful halfback lowers his head and bulls his way into pay dirt. Horning adds the extra point, and the Western Conference champions draw first blood with a 7-0 lead. The Giants come storming back after the kickoff. Alec Webster gains 4 yards to the New York 30. On third down, Y. Tittle goes back to pass. He's rushed hard by Willie Davis, and Henry Jordan deflects the ball. Ray Nitschke picks off the wayward pigskin and returns 8 yards before he's hit by Kyle Rote. Nitschke, like Horning and Dowler, is on leave from the Army and having quite a day for himself. Bart Starr is doing a masterful job of selecting plays. He hits Ron Kramer with a quick pop, and it takes 3 Giants to wrestle Rugged Ron to earth as the play nets 16 yards. Jim Taylor cuts back over the middle and crosses the 15. As the Giant secondary moves up close to stop the running, Packer linemen do their job as Starr pegs to Big Boyd Dowler. Dowler takes it in for the touchdown. Packer fans give their speedy 6'5" wingman a big hand as he leaves the field. Paul Horning attempts his second extra point. Paul's boot is perfect, and the Packers lead 14-0. Ben Agajanian kicks off for Green Bay. Joel Wells takes it on the 11. Joel comes straight upfield and gets across the 30 before he's down by Luke Carpenter. On first down, Y. Tittle goes back to pass, but he's rushed hard by Willie Davis. Tittle is hit by Davis just as he throws, and it goes incomplete. Again, Y.A. goes back to pass. Tittle throws over the middle, but Hank Grimminger intercepts. Hank returns the ball 13 yards to the New York 36. The Packer defense, sparked by Grimminger and Big Willie Davis, gives the offensive unit another golden opportunity. Fullback Jim Taylor gets the call on first down. Taylor cracks over the left side for 4 yards. Paul Horning finds a hole opened by center Jim Ringo and cuts through the middle to the 27. Green Bay coach Vince Lombardi likes what he sees as the Packers are rolling again. Our slow-motion camera catches the precision of the Green Bay ground game. Taylor takes a pitch back and keys off Fred Thurston. Thurston takes Jim Patton out, and Taylor goes inside. Jim gets 5 yards before he's bounced out by Dick Lynch. On a delayed handoff, Paul Horning takes an inside path and gets 3 yards to the Giants' 17. Starr goes back and hits Ron Kramer slanting across. Ron lowers his head and knocks over Joe Morrison as he bangs his way into score. Standing up, Ron Kramer is murdering the Giants from his tight end spot. In slow motion, we take another look at that touchdown. Notice how quickly Starr gets rid of the ball. The 250-pound Kramer hits with the force of a jackhammer as he roars into the end zone. Paul Horning gets his 9th point of the game on the conversion, and the Packers have built a 21-0 barrier. Giant coach Allie Sherman tells his players that if they're going to stay in this game, they must score now. For the 3rd time in the 2nd period, Ben Agajanian kicks off to the Giants. Joel Wells takes it on the 12 and again heads straight up the middle. Joel gets to the Giant 39, where he's met by Dan Curry and Lee Falkins. Charlie Connolly, wearing sneakers, enters the game for New York. The 40-year-old Connolly passes, but his arm is hit by Dave Hanner, and the ball bounces in the Packers secondary. We slow the camera as the Giants work the draw play. Fullback Alec Webster takes the delayed handoff. Alec spots some daylight and rolls for 7 yards before he's brought down by Bill Quinlan. The Packers are penalized and the ball is moved to midfield. From here, the veteran Connolly goes back and passes down the middle. Kyle Rote goes up between 2 Packers to take the pigskin on the Green Bay 15. We go to our slow motion camera as the Giants work their 2nd draw of the series. Phil King carries. Roosevelt Brown has cleared the way, and King grinds out 7 yards before Bill Quinlan and Ray Nitschke collar him. The Giants open a hole for Alec Webster at right tackle, but linebackers Dan Curry and Ray Nitschke hold Big Alec to 2 yards. It's 3rd and 1 on the Packer 6. Joel Wells hits straight ahead, but he's stopped by the entire Packer line led by Quinlan and Henry Jordan. It's 4th and 1 on the 6. Allie Sherman sends Bob Gators into the game. Gators passes on the run to Kyle Rote. The pass, too hot, and the Packers have held. Gloom descends on the Giants as the Green Bay Packers, leading 21-0, take over on their own 20. The Packers get their running attack in high gear as Horning slashes through the Giant defense. The almost unstoppable Horning racks up 17 yards. Horning finds the middle cleared by Ron Kramer as he skips out of 2 tackles and gets 7 more yards to the Green Bay 44. There are less than 2 minutes in the first half. Tom Moore replaces Taylor. Moore cracks off the right side and gets 4 yards and a first down with less than a minute on the clock. Our slow motion camera sees Bart Starr retreat and fire a wobbly pass upfield. Ron Kramer has Joe Morrison beaten and takes it on the 35. Kramer shows his brute strength as he sheds Morrison, and rookie Alan Webb, like a duck, sheds water. Sam Huff catches Kramer on the 22, but Ron carries Huff and 2 others to the Giant 15. With less than 10 seconds left, Bart Starr waits for the Giants to get onside. Starr's incomplete pass stops the clock with just 1 second remaining. This gives Paul Horning a chance to try a field goal from the 17. Paul's boot is perfect as the half runs out. Horning now has 12 points as the teams leave the field, with the Packers holding a 24-0 lead over the Giants. Direct from New York come the famous Peppermint Lounge Twisters and their original version of the twist, followed by the colorful Championship Lake Band from Milwaukee. The Packers return to the field ready to protect their huge lead and become world champions. The Giants have just 30 minutes to overcome a 24-point deficit and take the title to New York. Pat Summerall kicks off for New York to start the second half. Summerall's high kick bounces on the 18 and is taken by Ray Nitschke. Nitschke gets to the 36 before he slips and falls. Bart Starr goes back to pass, but sees a lane open up the left side. Starr takes off on foot and gets to the Giant 40. Starr fumbles, and Jimmy Patton recovers for New York. Patton is brought down by Forrest Gregg. The whole play goes for naught, however, for the Packers were guilty of illegal procedure at the start of the play. Referee George Renix explains the play to Giant captain Kyle Rote. The ball is brought back to the Packer 35. Paul Hornung continues to be the #1 Giant killer. Paul rips for 10 yards off tackle. The Giant defense contains the Packers at this point, and Boyd Dowler punts. Dowler's kick is partially blocked by Cliff Livingston. Giant lineman Larry Hayes picks it up on the 37 and returns 3 yards. Hayes fumbles, and Mickey Walker recovers for New York on the Giant 41. Charlie Connolly is at the helm for New York. Connolly flips a short pass to Alec Webster, but Willie Davis swarms over Webster for a 5-yard loss. Now it's 3rd and 20. Connolly connects with Joe Walton for 19 yards, but the Giants are 1 yard shy at midfield. The Giants have had little success with the Packer line, so Don Chandler punts. Chandler's punt goes out of bounds on the Green Bay 15. The Packers have trouble moving on the Giant defense. Hornung sweeps the right side, but Erich Barnes moves up fast to make the tackle. The Packers are forced to punt. Boyd Dowler booms a high punt, 64 yards downfield. Joe Morrison goes for it and fumbles. A mad scramble follows, and Forrest Gregg recovers for Green Bay on the New York 22. Tom Moore bolts over center and drives hard for 6 yards before Sam Huff applies the stopper. Our slow-motion camera catches the action as Starr fakes to Moore, then throws for Hornung in the flat. Erich Barnes has the play covered and a chance to intercept. The ball hits Barnes in the chest. Erich isn't at all happy with the miscue and slams the ball to the ground. The Packers can get no closer on this drive, but Paul Hornung salvages 3 points with a perfect placement from the 22. The Packers lead 27-0 midway through the 3rd period. The Giant bench is a glum area in a stadium full of happy people as the Packers start another drive moments later with Bart Starr pegging a spot pass to Dowler. Boyd Dowler fights his way inside the Giant 35. Paul Hornung and the Packers show off their power. Forrest Gregg and Fred Thurston lead Paul for a 6-yard advance. Our slow-motion camera watches the Packer linemen fight off Giant defenders, giving Starr plenty of time. Bart throws perfectly to Boyd Dowler for a first down at the New York 13. After an incomplete pass to Max McGee, Starr goes back and finds Ron Kramer in the end zone. Kramer makes the catch off balance for a touchdown. Ron slips on the ice surrounding the end zone and hurts an ankle, but he's back up in a hurry. Here's the play in slow motion. Starr gets rid of the ball just in time. Kramer, meanwhile, has run a beautiful pattern, blocking, then releasing to work himself free to make the catch for his 2nd touchdown in the greatest game of his career. Paul Hornung is deadly with his place kick, and the Packers pour it on 34-0. Vince Lombardi's Western champs feel mighty safe with just 1 quarter remaining. The Giants, in their desperation bid to get on the scoreboard, go to the long pass. Tittle aims for Del Schaffner, but Jesse Whittington steals it on the Packer 38. Schaffner escorts Whittington to the 18-yard line, but the ball is brought back 20 yards. The Packers are hitting just as hard as they did early in the game. Tom Moore gets 3 at left tackle. Here's the play that has killed the Giants all day long. Hornung cuts inside and gets a first down at the Giant 47. Jim Taylor, who played the entire game with a painful back injury, takes a delayed handoff. Taylor storms through the weary Giants, picking up 33 yards before Erich Barnes shoves him out of bounds. Starr keeps the Packer drive moving with a short pass to Hornung. Paul battles his way to the Giant 12. An incomplete pass stalls Green Bay's touchdown drive, but Paul Hornung has the answer. Hornung tows home a field goal from 19 yards out to give the Packers a 37-0 lead. Hornung's personal total of 19 points is a new championship game record. In the final moments of the game, the Packers are still at it. Tom Moore bangs for 6 yards around right end. At this point, Vince Lombardi is substituting for his regulars one by one. Paul Hornung, selected as the game's most valuable player, receives a standing ovation from the Green Bay fans. Paul gets a well-deserved rest after the finest all-around performance of his career. Tom Moore is busy tearing at the tired shreds of the Giant defense. Tom spins for 11 more yards. Bart Starr is the next Packer to be relieved from duty. Starr, considered a good quarterback before this game, was magnificent in every way against the Giants today. As the final seconds tick off the clock, Fred Thurston makes sure that the Packers get the game ball. All of the Packers were great today. It was an inspirational victory by a well-coached team that has made the little town of Green Bay the football capital of the United States. For the Giants, it was a long, cold afternoon, which saw the Packers build up a momentum no team could hope to stem. The New Yorkers never really got started. The Packers hoist their coach, Vince Lombardi, on their triumphant shoulders, and the Green Bay Rooters swarm onto the field, just hoping to touch one of their heroes. They've been waiting for this day for 40 years in Green Bay, Wisconsin, the day that the Packers win the World Championship on their home grounds.